Okay, guys, I'm gonna hold on a couple minutes, see if Susan blesses us with notifications today or not. No sense in going into details until we find out if we're on the A list or the screw you list. Hey, FBI agent. All right. Some people are finding their way. Susan might have sent out a notification or two.
Please keep your party together. Abide by the queue markings and maintain physical distancing between your party and others.
Let me give you guys the background on this ride. First of all, I got to apologize because I went ahead and forgot my gimbal today. So this stream is going to be a lot bumpier than the ones where I had my gimbal. I bought it for this trip, so of course, I would leave it back in our car. Now, this is the Kilimanjaro Safaris ride in Animal Kingdom. Our best friends, Elizabeth and Alex, are our regular partners in crime and companions and pretty much all the things we do for fun. They were actually supposed to be on this trip with us, but then COVID ruined everything. But anyway, on a prior trip here, Elizabeth was on this ride, and it's, as it would sound, a safari ride. And there's a point in here where you go over this rickety old bridge. Well, the cast member that day who was giving the tour really sold the old, wow, we might die on this bridge thing. And I wasn't thinking anything of it, but as the cast member was giving the whole spiel, I looked over at Elizabeth and I saw the most terrified, simply horrified, I mean, within moments of death expression you ever saw. She had no color in her face. Her expression was totally blank. It was, it was that moment where your life flashes before your eyes and you're like, oh, damn, I was way too young, but I'm going to die. It was one of the greatest expressions ever. And of course, as could be expected, you don't really die on the ride usually. More often than not, you survive. But we made it through, but this has become the Elizabeth Almost Died ride. So when you guys get to Disney World and you go on Kilimanjaro Safaris, feel free to let people know that's not the official name. It's the Elizabeth, is that correct?
Yeah.
It's the Elizabeth Almost Died ride. So again, won't be super smooth this time, guys, because again, I forgot my gimbal. I apologize, but I will take you guys through this ride. Let's see. I have to keep looking under my glasses to see what you're saying. Oh, it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Because it was genuine. She just was like, of all these rides that go out, millions of times a year they take this tour, and poor Elizabeth got on the one that was going to crash and burn, and everybody was going to be dead. I'll show you guys, though. We're obviously in the line right now. I'll show you the walk around.
My 6 years with Africa, I spent many hours observing animal behavior.
And of course, this will make my arms extremely tired not having my gimbal with me, but I will do the best I can for you guys.
Safaris asked me to share with you the true stories of how I've made wildlife. Some
There's some of the wildlife. But yeah, so, and who knows, maybe we'll get lucky and this will be the day that the truck actually does crash and we'll have it live. We can only keep our fingers crossed. Oh, come on. Where's your sense of adventure? You know how cool that would be to be live streaming that? You're not gonna be a baby about it, are you? Oh, I don't want to crash today. Yeah. I want the truck to stay on the road. I don't want to go off the bridge. Baby. Oh. I don't know if I can get the camera far enough away to show our ultimate lame shirts. I told you you guys could call me nerd freely today because I wouldn't be able to argue the point. All right, I gotta take my glass off for a bit so I can read your comments. It's a beautiful day right now, Mr. Shank. Gorgeous. It's typical Central Florida. Later in the day, you might get those storms, but they typically come and go quick. Oh, Lauren, the guy who stole our puppy got my uncle's foot hypothetically shoved up his ear. Good, Lauren. I'm I'm glad to hear there was some semblance of justice in that. That was horrific. For those who don't know, that's been an ongoing thing. That Lauren's puppy was stolen. A lot of twisted folks out there. Oh, we're having a good time, Peter. Okay, let me turn you guys around. Show you some more of the foliage. Here's the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Again, some call it Kilimanjaro Safaris. It's the Elizabeth Almost Died ride. Make no mistake. Hi. And we're about to get on, guys. The lines haven't been bad, I'll tell you. For the most part, lines haven't been too bad considering the parks are pretty crowded. And they do have lots of hand sanitization stations. Here we go. We're about. Hey, hon. Let me switch this so I can get a good shot for them.
Sorry.
All right, and again, guys, I apologize for forgetting the gimbal, but I will hold this as steady as I possibly can here. This is in Disney's Animal Kingdom. This is the Kilimanjaro Safaris ride, also known as Elizabeth Almost Died ride.
Hey, you know what they say here in Harambe Twin Day? That means let's go. Hello everybody, my name is Stein. I'll be your safari driver on the Harambe Wildlife Preserve. Above your heads up there, you'll see the animal spotting guide. That's just some of the animals we may or may not see while we're out there. May not see them all, but we do typically have some pretty good luck. So go ahead and have those cameras up and ready to go at all times because I cannot stop for every single animal. And every animal definitely will not be stopping for us. Also hold on extra tight to all of your loose items because if anything happens to fall outside of the truck, I'm not allowed to get out and get it. No matter how valuable that item is.
Do you guys hear that? If I drop you outside here, you guys are staying here forever.
And already there's some animals on either side of the truck here. Starting on the left,
oh, here
the
we go.
reddish
Look at this.
brown antelopes on the left over here. These are bongos. They're nicknamed the ghost of the forest because of how rarely they are ever seen. And both male and female bongo have horns. They are in fact tilted back on the very top of their head so they can easily navigate throughout the forest. And both male and female bongo have horns. They are in fact tilted back on the top of their head so they can easily navigate throughout the forest. Over to the far right side over there at the top of that hill is an okapi. You may think they're
forever streams. I wish I could.
Black striped legs, but they're not. They're actually the only
Dragon, I don't realize I felt weak in the knees, but what if I was on my stomach? I realized that I will feed the wrong drink.
Even the male okapis have ossicones.
All right, Dragon, that one's pretty good. I like that one. I like that one.
They use to grab leaves off branches. They can also lick their eyes, ears, and even nose if they have to. The okapis are
you hear that, ladies?
shy animals,
they can also lick their eyes.
Until 1901, up until then, they were just believed to be a myth. We do also have to stay fully seated here as well. Just up ahead on the second hill up here, these tannish colored antelopes coming up on the right. These are some greater kudu, one of the taller antelope here in Africa. They stand about 5 feet tall at the shoulder, and we can very easily tell are female because they do not have any horns. Only male greater kudu have them, and they can get about 6 feet in length. It's actually the longest horns on any antelope. Over to the left-hand side, a black rhino. There's actually less than 5,000 of
them. Oh, I love the rhinos. Look at that guy.
The entire world today. That's because they are poached every single day.
Fun fact, Walt Disney made after visiting Denmark, capital Copenhagen.
Fully grown, and they have a pointed
really? I didn't know that, Vlad.
Grab leaves off the small.
I did not know that.
In the area. Rhinos also have 3 toes on each foot, and they can charge.
That's really cool.
Up to 35 miles an hour.
I don't believe so, Lauren. I don't think we've ever seen wolves here. Yeah, that's pretty cool, Vlad. I didn't know that.
Yeah, looks like we'll be heading out of the forest now and up to the Sapi River. Hopefully in the Sapi River we'll find some hippos. But you gotta keep a close eye out because once hippos are underwater, they can be pretty hard to see most of the time. Blending in, looking like big rocks underwater. So we get around the corner up here, Keep a close eye out down in the water.
Now we'll see if this driver gives us the story about the bridge about to collapse. The one that made Elizabeth almost die.
And overheat if they did. Fully grown hippos can also weigh well over 5,000 pounds. They're very territorial. They're not afraid to show it, so you definitely don't want to get too close to them. Seems like there might be a few back on the right. They can be really hard to see, so if you don't see them too well, don't worry, we'll check up ahead here. Looks like there's one that just popped its head up near the shore coming up on the right. Now, fully grown hippos like that can weigh well over 5,000 pounds. They're very territorial, and they're not afraid to show it, so you definitely don't want to get too close to them. Looks like quite a few on the left side as well over here. A group of hippos like this is called a bloat. A bloat of hippos, and they use a wee honk sound.
Oh, look at them, guys, right there.
And each one is different for every hippo, just like our voices. Another thing that can also make hippos harder to find is the fact they don't really swim. They take a deep breath, sink all the way down to the bottom, then walk along down there. Whenever they're ready for another breath of air, they'll simply kick themselves right back up to the top, take another deep breath,
raccoon.
and then sink right back down. Now the white bird.
I apologize, guys, for not remembering my gimbal today.
Got that name because the feathers on the back turn a light pink color during mating
That's
season.
some big ass
They can
pelicans.
also have up to an 8-foot wingspan when they are fully grown. And a group of pelicans. It's actually called a pod. A pod of pelicans. Now as we get ready to cross over this rickety bridge out here to the left, there's some Nile
This is the bridge where Elizabeth almost died.
20 feet long, weigh around 500 pounds. They can also very easily eat over 200 pounds in just one meal, so they typically eat about once a week. However, they can also
they're there.
hold their breath while they're under that water for upwards
Elizabeth,
of
if you're
2
watching,
hours
we might not
at a
make it.
time. Not the type of animals Jonah best.
Oh, man.
And a group of crocodiles on land, that's called a bass. And a group of
All right,
crocodiles
everybody.
down in the water, that's
Applause
called
in
a
the
float.
chat because we survived the
And whenever you
Elizabeth
see
almost
them
died
cross way
bridge.
there on the shore with their mouths wide open, it's not because they want to eat you. It's just because they're trying to cool off, and that's how they do it. They'll play on the shore and open their mouths as wide as they can. That's simply because they don't sweat like us. They'll push all their body heat out through their mouths.
This driver didn't try and sell it the same way that one did that day. That was, oh. I just wish I could have had a picture of that for you guys.
This will be one of the best views of the Savannah from up here.
Yeah, that's pretty cool coming up, guys.
Work together to shape how the land looks out here. Elephants will knock down any and all trees in their way. Giraffes will eat the undersides of trees, and then antelope will come along, eating up the rest.
Oh, yeah, I know, Dragon. He was a great guy. He almost took my head off once. We laughed. He got a little charged up on a clothesline on me once.
Over to the far right, way out there, there's some springbok in the distance, way out there. They're laying down between the clearing and the trees out there. Springbok actually got that name because they can spring forward up in the air, about 6 feet
Stop the
repeatedly
tour
when frightened.
buses. That'd be awesome, actually, Ranger.
And that is pretty much as big as they get. They only get about 3 feet tall and can typically run about 50 miles an hour when they need to. And up ahead here on the right, looks like a giraffe in the distance. Giraffes are actually the tallest animals in the world, reaching heights of about 20 feet tall, fully grown. The newborn giraffe, however, they're just around 6 to 7 feet tall. And a group of giraffes, it's actually called a tower. A tower
Coming up,
giraffe.
guys.
And you also rarely ever catch a giraffe laying down in the wild. It would take too long for them to get up if a predator was to come by, which is why giraffes actually sleep standing up at night, which isn't too much of a problem for them either, considering that they only sleep for about 30 minutes every night, and it's also not one solid period of time. It's like 5-minute increments, totaling up to around half an hour every night. And they pretty much spend the rest of their time eating. In fact, those giraffes will eat so much, they have a dark purple tongue. So
Okay,
it
it's not letting me
sunburned while they do
zoom.
it.
Hold on.
Let's see if we can find any more up ahead. In the meantime, on the left, some African wild dogs, also
Oh, what
known
do we
as
got over
the
here?
painted dogs because of the beautiful markings on their fur. And they are one of the most successful hunters here in Africa.
Murder birds.
Pretty much chasing their prey down to the point of exhaustion. That's because the wild dogs work really well as a team together and they all care for one another. Plus, they don't even bark. They make a high-pitched chirping sound. They also have 4 toes on each foot, unlike your regular house dog that has 5. Now on either side of the truck up ahead here are some termite mounds. Animals like to use
Right
them
there,
as
guys,
scratching
termite
posts.
mounds.
because it can be just about as hard as concrete, and eventually over time will wear down like one further out to
There's
the
what?
right. That's where
Giraffe
the
up in
smaller
there.
animals
Oh,
actually
yeah.
come like a perch, so they can actually look out over the savannah.
Look at this termite mound, guys.
Oh, there's
That's-
one way up in there, little giraffe.
Is there?
Yep.
Oh yeah, there he is.
The trees.
Yep. I don't know if you guys can see him.
Alright, let's check and see what we can find around the corner. Looks like far out there on the left, I already see some Angoli cattle and some wildebeest way out there. We'll get up to them in just a moment here. They're far out on the left there, roaming on the hillside.
Funny fact,
Now,
giraffes have the same amount of vertebrae as
Angoli cattle
humans.
have
Really, Wolf?
heavy.
I did not know that either.
They're actually hollow with a
That's amazing. They got
inside.
they got to be some pretty
That way they can
substantial
pump their
vertebrae to be
blood there and
spaced
keep
out that
themselves
that far.
They're
Wow.
also a sign of
That's
wealth.
cool. I
The
didn't
more
know
you
that.
have, the wealthier that you appear to be. However, they're also sometimes known as the Watusi cattle because they were first domesticated by the Watusi tribe. Now, the wildebeest way out there on the hillside, their young can actually run within 15
Swamp
minutes
people
after birth.
foxholes.
Otherwise, they will get left behind. They're also known as news because
Oh,
of the
Tyler, I wish we'd
sound
see
that they make.
Bigfoot.
Wildebeest can also go about 5 whole days without drinking a single drop of water.
That's really
They
interesting
also
about the
like to migrate
vertebrae
around
on the
groups,
giraffes,
which is
though.
why you normally don't see them alone. Also up ahead, there's some zebras on these hillsides as well. The zebras we can very easily tell are black with white stripes. That's simply because they have a black nose. They also have a very powerful kick strong enough to break the jaw of a lion. And each zebra's striped coat is unique to that zebra. No two are the same, just like our fingerprints are all different for each and every zebra.
Some more termite mounds.
And a group of zebra like this is also called a dazzle. A dazzle of zebra.
Dazzle.
Quite a few
They're
out there.
fabulous.
Over here.
What do you got? Oh, yeah, there we go.
Dead.
Ah, they're gonna eat. Oh, look at these guys are like food.
Alright, let's check up ahead here. These giraffes must be hanging around the corner up here. Keep a lookout for them. There's
Oh,
more
yeah.
cattle under those trees out there on the right side as well. There we go, a few giraffes on the left over here.
Oh, yeah.
Now, giraffes are actually the tallest animals in the world.
Oh, there we go,
reaching
guys.
heights of about 20 feet tall, fully grown. The newborn giraffe, however, they're just around 6 to 7 feet tall. And a group of giraffes, it's actually called a tower. A tower of giraffe. You also rarely ever catch a giraffe lay down in the wild. It would take too long for them to get up if a predator was to come by, which is why giraffes are
Shut out, harder, Daddy. Nah, I don't think so, Wolverine.
For them, considering the fact that they only sleep for about 30 minutes every night.
Hey, Enzo.
And they pretty much spend the rest of their time eating. In fact, those giraffes will eat so
I've
much.
heard that the road
that they have a
warriors
dark
were
purple
stiff,
tongue,
especially
so
when
it does not
they
get
started
sunburned.
out. Yeah, they were really stiff.
And
And
because
Animal
I'm
wasn't
outside
stiff
the
with
same
me.
number
He
of
just
vertebrae in that
he
long
was
neck
perfectly
to a
safe.
back
He just
and
hit me
sit
across
down
the
just a
chest
lot bigger.
really hard.
The
It was
giraffe's
funny.
heart is also
It was
around
just a
2
laugh.
feet long, weighs around 25 pounds.
They can't help
And
but
they
be
have the
stiff. Those
highest
guys were
blood
so
pressure of
insanely
any mammal, that's
powerful.
for obvious reasons. Now just ahead of us up here, it looks like
But
there's an
I never
elephant
thought they were
behind the
dangerously
trees.
stiff. They were the type of stiff that if you don't want to deal with it, you're probably in the wrong business.
Despite his shape of being his ears, that is the shape of Africa. And their greatest threat is humans due to poaching for their ivory tusks and loss of habitat. Around hundreds of elephants are poached every single day. That's about one every 15 minutes. That's why it's important to help out the conservation
Oh, where is he?
efforts to save these
Oh, yeah, he's
elephants,
back in the
otherwise they
trees.
could go extinct as soon as
Yep.
10 years.
It's a good thing we got my
Now,
wife
on
here,
the left
guys.
side,
She's
here's
finding
the
the
monkey,
animals.
baby one there as well. They have the largest
hard to
and most
see
powerful
'em.
monkey in the world.
Yeah, he's going the wrong way
About
for
100
us.
pounds. And they have little pouches in their face so they can store food for later.
Might see him when we come around
And
the other
more
side.
darker and vibrant the colors in the mandrel's face are, the more dominant that they are. And there he is one more time on the right there. We'll have to head on down to the red clay pit, see if we can find the rest of his family down there.
Oh, there he is.
Elephants actually hang out around red clay pits because they eat the red clay for the minerals. It also helps them digest their food. So let's check down there just around the corner and over the bridge here. It's not too far away.
All right, thanks for being in while you could, pal. Ooh.
Alright, looks like here we are down in the red clay pits now. Looks like there have been some elephants here
Swamp
recently.
folk open
There's
fire.
some tusk marks in the clay to the right and footprints all over the ground. So keep an eye out, there should be some nearby. Looks like there might be a few here on the left. Now our researchers
Fun
out
fact,
here
the narrator
on
could be a
reserve
salesman with cars or
actually
other
found out
press. Yeah,
elephants do not like to be around bees.
I agree, Wolf.
So the
He's
farmers
not
over
one
in
of the
Kenya,
best ones we've had, to be
put up
honest with
around
you.
their fields
He's all
to help
right.
keep out the elephants. And also gave those farmers a new source of income from
We've
the
had much more entertaining drivers.
Check a little further up here, see if we can find any more. Female elephants are also pregnant for just under 2 full years, 22 months to be exact.
That sounds fun.
And when the babies are born, they're just about 300 pounds.
Hey, same weight I was when I was born.
Elephants also have quite a few ways they can try to cool themselves down on a hot day. They can spray some water on themselves, throw dirt or mud on their backs, or even fan themselves with their big ears. Because there's a bunch of blood veins on the back side of the elephant's ear. So when they fan themselves, it actually creates little air pockets behind there to help them cool off. The elephant's trunk is also very powerful.
Well, that's good, Enzo. I was hoping you guys would enjoy this.
Has over 100,000
We love this
different
ride.
muscles in there and can typically hold about 5 gallons of water inside of it.
What you got over here, hon? Oh,
Let's check on down here by the watering holes. Another good place to check sometimes, especially on warmer days.
Kim. Yeah, I can barely make him out.
Here we go, one more on the left back there.
Oh, yeah.
What? Oh, yeah. There you go, guys.
And looks like as we get around the corner here, next up on the left here are some greater flamingos.
I like them. They share a
They can
physique
get
with
about
me.
5 feet tall, weigh around 9 pounds. They're actually the largest flamingo.
There we go.
They
Here's
do
some
have the
1
least
foot
amount of
wonders.
pink on them. The lesser flamingos actually have more of that pink coloring all over their bodies. The greater flamingo, though, they actually got their pink coloring from their diet.
Oh, we gotta
mostly
fight,
brine
fight,
shrimp
fight.
that they eat.
Look at there's a
And a
fight.
group of flamingos like this is also called a flamboyance.
Oh yeah,
And just
there's a
one
fight.
flamboyance can have
What do you
up to
call you?
200,000
Don't take
flamingos
that.
in it. There's a few younger ones out there as well. The fluffy gray ones with black legs are around 2 to 3 months old already. And by the age of 2, they will be pretty much fully grown.
I don't know what we just walked in at. Do you think that was domestic violence or was that a street fight? What was going on
The
there?
brine shrimp, they will turn the pink coloring that you see there. So in about 2 years, they will look just like the rest of them.
That's what I'm saying, Big Green. Hey, Jonathan.
Over to the left out there is a mud hole. Rhinos actually make something like that so they can roll around and cool off in the mud. That mud also acts as a natural sunblock and bug repellent because rhinos have very sensitive skin, so they actually
Yeah,
keep
Ranger.
themselves coated pretty well in that mud throughout the
Entertain me. I like that.
Keep an eye
Jacking
out
each other
for
up a
some
little bit.
rhinos around here. They could also be about the same color as that mud, so you got to look very closely for them sometimes. Looks like there's some on the right side up there. Now these are some white rhinos on this hillside. There's some behind the trees here on the right as well. The white rhinos are actually much bigger than black rhinos. They can get about 5,000 pounds fully grown. They have
flamingos will
large,
pee
wide
down their
mouths,
leg to keep
so they can
themselves
easily
cool.
grasp right
Really?
off the ground.
Wolf? How do you
They
know all
also
this
cannot
stuff?
see
Oh, there
too
we
well,
go.
though. They can only see clearly about 10 feet in front of their face. Anything else further than that is
Really?
pretty much just a blur, which is
That's
why
another good one. I had no idea about that.
to help
I
them
like
get
those
around.
little tidbits.
And a group
I
of
pee down
rhinos
my
is
legs
also
sometimes,
called a
but
crash.
it's usually an
A
accident.
crash of rhinos. Now, the white rhinos also did not get their name because of their skin. It's actually a grayish color once you see them without all that mud on them. However, they got the name because when they were first discovered, they were called the white rhino. That is V-I-T. And white actually translates to wide. And as you can see, those white rhinos are very wide.
Oh, jeez.
Basically, just a misunderstanding on
I
how they got the
missed
name
them for
white
you
rhino.
guys. Sorry about that.
Also on the left here, you can usually find a cheetah or two hanging out on these hillsides. Keep a lookout for them as well. Cheetahs can actually run about 60 miles an hour in just 3
I think so,
seconds.
Big Green.
They also use their long tail.
Little bit of water
steer while
sports.
they're running, and they're the largest cats.
I don't
that can
see
run.
any.
However, they do have non-retractable claws, so it's not the type of cat you want to make purr. You may also think that cheetah's a very successful hunter because of how fast they can run. And a group of
That's same with me too.
cheetahs,
I can only do anything for short periods of time and then I have to rest.
Over to the left up here on the rocks, there's a male
The
lion here on
lions.
the left laying down. The lions are pretty inactive throughout the day. About 16 to 20 hours of their day is just spent lying about here on the rocks. That's because they do all their hunting and stuff at night because they have 6 times greater vision than us at night. So if we have any luck of finding something, they'll be up there on the rocks. And if we do find them, they're most likely going to be sleeping right about now. The female lions are typically the hunters for the pride. Both the males actually stay back and protect the pride. The lion's roar can also be heard from around 5 to 6 miles
There's the
away
females,
inside.
guys.
Their tongue also feels a lot like wet sandpaper, and thus they can very easily lick meat right off the bones. So if you come on back a little later around 6
My
o'clock
friends and I
or
went
so
to the
this
zoo
evening,
once.
you might have a better
One of them
chance
put
finding
his
those
arm
lions
inside a
awake
hip.
doing
Oh,
things.
man.
You might even get
And
a chance to
hippos,
catch them
dude.
roaring, because they do like to vocalize around nighttime.
That's terrifying
pretty
because
amazing thing to
hippos
catch
are
when they do.
badasses. Hippos will rip you up. That's not a good idea. There's the female. This really is a great tour. It really is.
Let's check around this corner here, see what else we can find. Looks like over to the left, a little further back there, laying down by the rocks. There's a warthog back there. Another one over to that rock pile on the right, up there on the left. Now, warthogs are actually the largest burrowing animals, and they will back in those burrows with their tusks facing out. That way they can easily chase away any predators that may come by. However, they can also reuse older abandoned burrows from other animals if they'd like to as well.
The rocks over.
And sometimes while they eat, they'll kneel down on their front legs, lay down, or even sit down, depending on how low their food is, because they do have short necks, so it tends to make it just a little easier on them sometimes. On the right side out there, a bontebok, they are related to the wildebeest. They're very shy animals. Unfortunately, though, they are almost extinct in the wild because they're hunted for that beautiful coat they have. Some ostrich eggs as well back there on the ground. Those can weigh around 30 pounds each. They're so strong, you can go stand on them and they won't even break. And just one ostrich egg is equivalent to about 2 dozen chicken eggs.
Oh, that's enough for half my breakfast.
Now, most animals that you've seen on the reserve today are either endangered or pretty close to extinction in the wild, which is why they're only found on reserves like this.
Fun
If you wanna
lions
help
back to
animals
group
out,
or
save
pride.
them for future
Up to
generations,
30
you can
lions
donate
depending on
to
how
the
much
Disney
food.
Wildlife
Wow.
Restoration Fund
30? Wow.
at any merchandise location here in the park.
Wow.
I will be dropping you guys off at the nearest
Lions are,
Horses Post.
wow,
From
I'm not the
there,
first one to
it's
say
just
it.
a short
Lions are
walk
just
back to
so
Rendezvous
regal
Village.
looking.
Or
Those
wherever else
lions
you
though,
are
every time we come on
traveling
this, you know, it's the middle of the day,
to.
it's
If you'd
hot like
to
this,
somewhere to
they're
look
always
at
right up
over
there
one
on
of the
those same
walking
rocks.
trails here in the
They're
park.
so cool.
There's Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail right here in Africa. If you can find more African animals like gorillas, meerkats, zebras, even an underwater viewing area of some hippos. There's also the Maharaja Jungle Trek over in Asia if you'd like to see animals a little more native to Asia, like tigers, bats, Komodo dragons, Asian birds, and many more. And if you
Okay,
ever want
guys,
to come on back for another
that's pretty
safari,
much
you're
it
more than
for the
welcome to.
safari.
Safari will never be exactly the
I'm
same.
gonna let you guys go just
The
because I want to
animals
save some
definitely
battery
make
life
sure
in case there's anything that comes
Also
up
keep in
later
mind the last safari
that I might
will
want to show you
start around
guys.
6 o'clock this evening, so as long as you're back in line before
Oh, hold
6
on, let me
o'clock,
show you this. I like
you'll
this.
be all set to head out on
I don't know why, I just like these waterfalls up here.
I will be dropping you guys off up ahead here in just a moment. If you have any questions of any kind about the animals we saw here today, or questions pretty much about the park in general.
But thank you guys for taking the ride with me. I hope you enjoyed it. We absolutely love this ride. If you get to Disney World, couldn't recommend it enough. Definitely come check it out. But hold on, let me get the little.
Shouldn't take too much longer here. Looks like
But thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we'll give you more updates on stuff.
Here in Africa, we do not like to say goodbye. It's too sad and far too final.